that we may come back to understanding who we are as a people, as a person. When we quote the schema, Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad. And he said, hear, O Israel, obey, Israel, Yahweh, who our God, Yahweh, is one. So being one, Yahweh God has told us things that we have to decipher that so that we might be able to move through the earth properly. In Psalm 50, verse 15, and call upon me in the day of trouble, and I will deliver you, and ye shall glorify me. Yahweh say, call upon him. And Zechariah 13:9 and say, they shall call on my name, and I will hear them. These are the things that enrich us so that we might be, as a people, to walk through that straight and narrow path. Yahweh God has said in Zechariah verse 9, and I will bring the third part through the fire, and I will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. And they shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, Yahweh is my Elohim, my God. Because in Isaiah 48, verse 10, he said, behold, I have refined you, but not with silver. I have chosen you in the furnace of affliction. And therefore, as Yahweh clean us, that we will have balance, he has told us a great and awesome secret. And that secret is, as it is written. It says in Hosea 7:7, there is none among you that call upon me. He said, you don't call upon me. You don't call my name. You don't make mention of me. Because his name, as it is mentioned, it says, Psalm 99, verse 3, let them praise your great and terrible name, for it is holy. Yahweh God has put a warning on us in Exodus 27. Take not the name of Yahweh in vain, for Yahweh will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. So it is told us, as in Psalm 50, verse 15, and call upon me in the day of your trouble. I will deliver you, and you will glorify me. Yahweh God has distinctly encouraged us to call his name, as it is written in Psalm 99, verse 6. Moses and Aaron among his priests, and Samuel among them that call upon his name. They called upon Yahweh, and he answered them. So this is what Yahweh is encouraging us to do. But we have to understand that it is to call his name and to take it in vain. To call his name and not to hold it in the highest esteem. It is a life-threatening thing. We know as a people, our journey in the Western Hemisphere is by many reasons, but one reason is by us not keeping the commandments. But Yahweh God has said these things to us, as it said in Isaiah 42, verse 16. And I will bring the blind by a way that they know not. I will lead them in the path that they have not known. I will make darkness light before them, and crooked things straight. These things will I do unto them, and not forsake them. Now these are beautiful tidings to us, because Yahweh God has said in Isaiah 43, verse 2, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon you. Yahweh is telling you a great story. He's telling you something that you should want to hold on to and nourish yourself in. Because it's very sacred that these things that he's saying, it pertains to you. In Jeremiah 31, verse 8, behold, I will bring them from the north country and gather them from the cross of the earth. And with them the blind and the lame, the woman with child, and her that travel with child together. A great company shall return. They shall come with weeping, and with supplication will I lead them. I will cause them to walk by the rivers of waters in a straight way, wherein they shall not stumble. So Yahweh God is affirming his dedication to us, that even through the roughness of time, that we will be able to navigate. But we have to go back to understand, who is these people? What circumstances that have befallen them that they can overcome if they keep the commandments? As in the book of Joel 3:7, it said, behold, I will raise them out of the place where you have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. And Yahweh goes on to tell them that, he said, I will raise them out of the place. We have been the people that have been sold. But you have to realize in all of that, what we should look for is understand our person and what we mean to the well-being of this planet, because we are one with Yahweh our God. In Joel 3:20 it says, but Judah shall dwell forever, and Jerusalem from generation to generation. For I will clean their blood that I have not cleaned, for Yahweh dwelleth in Zion. If you don't know who Judah is, then this is a story that you may not gravitate towards. It's talking about Judah. It's talking about a God that will bring a people from the north country. It's talking about Yahweh God that told you to call upon him. This is, and as he says in Joel 3:19, Egypt shall be desolate, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness, for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. This is important because these are the things that he's talking and he's telling a people. These are the things that you have to affirm. Is this story about you or about somebody else? You have to know, if this story is about you, then it's telling you your journey that you must take back to recover what you lost through being disobedient to the commandments. And that when your ancestors left, they left a heritage that you have to work out. And Yahweh God has given you a book, the Tanakh, which is the Torah, the prophecy, the writing, and the history. As it goes on, as it has said, because of the viciousness of the nations that they have risen against us, Yahweh God, even in the book of Joel 3:7, when he said, behold, I will raise them out of the place where ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. And I will sell your sons and your daughters unto the hands of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabeans, to a people far off, for Yahweh has spoken it. Because in Isaiah 14:21 it said, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers. Because the heritage that we have received, because of the inheritance that we received for what our ancestors have done. We didn't do it. But at the same time, it says in Isaiah 14:21, prepare slaughter what? For the children who? For the what? For the iniquity of their fathers. For what their fathers, they have left them an inheritance. And therefore, what is your inheritance? As is written in Genesis 22, verse 8. And in your seed Shall all nations of the earth be blessed because you have obeyed my voice. See, you are the blessing and the stability of this planet. The blessing was given you is because when you read Genesis 22 from I started at 18, but you can start from 17 to 18. You were given the blessing. The blessing was only given to two people, Abraham and his seed. And when it came to Isaac, Isaac would have two sons. And his son of Jacob and Esau will be the rulers of this world. And what we see now as a ruler is your brother Esau. He has given the sword because he was given the sword. And therefore you who are the blessing of the world, the stability and the balance of the world, people have walked right by you. They have taken the fool's gold and now understand that you are the gold itself. That if they would bless you, because you are the blessing of, as he says, and in your seed, who is the seed of Abraham? Shall all nations of the earth be blessed because you have obeyed my voice? You have to identify who you are to understand your journey. Anybody that touches us is cursed because we are the blessing. If we don't understand that we are the blessing of the nation, then we bring about circumstances that is not stable in our lives. We have to realize those that know the way, they don't chase the people to come. In the days of their adversity, they'll find you. You don't have to chase them. They'll find you. Because the people at this present time on this earth is being distracted. But it says in Isaiah 60, verse 12, for the nation and kingdom that will not serve you shall perish, yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. Why? Because you're the blessing of the world. Look at what's happening in the world. Just take a look. Why is it with all their counsel, with all their learned men, they can't have peace? Just take a look at it. That they can't sit down. They got to drop them bombs. Why? Because Esau was given the sword. Go read the book. It says in Jeremiah 31:10, hear the word of Yahweh, ye nations, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, he that scattered Israel will gather him and keep him as the shepherd does his flock. So those that have scattered us, they will gather us. And as Yahweh told, he said, look, in Jeremiah 31:8, he said, behold, I will bring them from the north country and gather them from the crust of the earth. And with them the blind, the lame, the woman with child, and her that travel with child. Together a great company shall return. They shall come with weeping, and with supplication will I lead them. I will cause them to walk by the rivers of water in a straight way, wherein they shall not stumble. In Deuteronomy 34, it says, if any of you be driven out unto the utmost parts of heaven, from there will Yahweh, your God, gather you, and from there will he get you. So he said, that's why he says, hear the word of Yahweh, ye nations. Because the nations will also gather us and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, he that scattered Israel will gather him and keep him as the shepherd does his flock. So we will be gathered. There's no question. We have to understand our journey. We have not called upon our God. We have to use his name and knock on his door. That's why he says, and call upon me in the day of trouble, and I will deliver you, and you shall glorify me. And therefore we live in the name of Yahweh. We call upon his name, but we know that name is dreadful. It's dreadful to those that will call it, and it's really against us if we don't. So we call upon the name, and we equalize our lives by keeping the commandments and being obedient as he has prescribed in Torah. And you should read the law. You should read. This should be a constant reading material, should be your Bible. Your book should be constant before you, because Yahweh God has told you what means you the best. He says, this is not a vain thing for you, for it is your life. And therefore, what is your life is what you do consistently. And therefore, so it will bring about a harmony, so that you may rear your children, so your children will find their way out of darkness into the light, because the darkness is here. And therefore, as it says in Deuteronomy 6, verse 7, and you shall teach them diligently unto thy children, and shall talk of them when thou sittest in thy house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be as fortless between thy eyes. And you shall write them upon the posts of thy house, and on thy gate. These laws that was given to us is our life. Nothing is more precious than the word of Yahweh. As it says in Isaiah 41:13, for I, Yahweh, your God, will hold your right hand, saying unto you, fear not, I will help you. Fear not, you worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel, I will help you, said Yahweh, and your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. We have to know our destiny on this planet. We got to know where we're going. You don't have to worry about it. Everybody is not coming. You understand? Everybody's not coming. You don't have to worry about it. The only person that entered into the land was Palau. Yahweh killed out all of those that did not do what was prescribed. So it's not about great numbers. Forget about numbers. You understand? It's better to take one that's obedient than a million that's not. So Yahweh God, because the law that has been prescribed is to bring about balance. There's no balance because of numbers. There's balance because there's one that holds the truth within them, and not only holds it, but exercises it in the physical world. In Isaiah 43, verse 1, but now said Yahweh, that created you, Jacob, and he that formed you, Israel, fear not. Yahweh said, stop fearing, because he has your hand. If you're keeping these commandments, there's no reason for you to fear. In Isaiah 44, verse 2, it says, said Yahweh that made you and formed you from the womb, which will help you. Fear not, Jacob. He's always telling us there's no need to fear. In the Apocrypha, 2nd Ezra, chapter 2, verse 27, be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness come, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but you shall be merry, and the heathen and merry, and have abundance. The heathen shall envy you, but they shall be able to do nothing against you, said Yahweh. My hand shall cover you, so that your children shall not see hell. Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness come, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but you shall be merry and have abundance. The heathens, meaning the nations, shall envy you, but they shall be able to do nothing against you, said Yahweh. My hand shall cover you, so that your children shall not see hell. And Yahweh is telling us what he's planning on doing. And he said, when that heaviness comes, he said, you ain't going to have to worry about it. Because even in Jeremiah 15:11, it said, Yahweh said, verily it shall be well with your remnant. Verily I will cause the enemy to entreat you well in the time of evil and in the time of affliction. So Yahweh said that remnant. That's why it says in Isaiah 10:22, for though your people Israel be as the sands of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return. Only a remnant is going to return. A small amount of us shall return. You can see it in the world. People are too busy doing nothing. What they're doing is not going to bring any progress. It's not going. If you're not exerting yourself in a spiritual manner to hold on by calling the name of your God, Yahweh God, and to ignite your spirit. So as it also says in the Apocrypha, 2nd Ezra 9, chapter 9, 10 to 12. For such as in their life has received benefit, and have not known me, and they that have more or hated my law, while they had yet liberty, and when a yet place of repentance was open unto them, understand not, but despise it. The same must know it after death by pain. In other words, they're going to be afflicted. They don't think that death is a way of getting away from pain. He said, no. He said they will be afflicted. And so it goes on to tell a great story of where we're going to and what is going to happen for us. It is three words that we should give attention: yet, again, and return. In Deuteronomy 28, verse 28, verse 68, and I will bring you into Egypt again with ships, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. But Yahweh God has affirmed to you clearly that he will retrieve you. All you got to do is live and call on his name. Now you can call it, but if you're not going to get your life together, then you'll stay in the pain. Why? Because he said, behold, I will bring them from the north country and gather them from the crust of the earth. And with them the blind and the lame, the woman with child and her that travel with child. You know, he's telling them, he said, they're going to, even if they're crippled, Yahweh is a great God. He said, I'm going to bring them all. And he says, a great company shall return. They shall come with weeping and with supplication will I lead them. I will cause them to walk by the rivers of water in a straight way wherein they shall not stumble. So Yahweh got a great calling for us. He got a great way for us. All we got to do is do what has been. That's why you must do your reading. See, it's not about numbers. Forget about numbers. If you think of a whole group of people, you're wasting your time. The only thing that they would deal with is foolishness. We came into America to be destroyed. What is destroyed? He said, my people, not people, my people were destroyed for the lack of knowledge. What is the knowledge? The knowledge that pertains to them on a personal level. So what you're going to behold is the retardation of a whole planet. This is what you're seeing. You're seeing a retardation of a whole planet. People running around, they don't think that tomorrow is coming. And therefore, they're not making ready. And how do you make ready? Because truly, Yahweh came to the earth and he said, build me a sanctuary that I may dwell among you. So heaven is in the earth, but when he gave the blessing to Esau and Jacob, and Isaac blessed his two sons, therefore, because he has given them the blessing and the words that come out of his mouth, Yahweh has held to his word to execute and give to Jacob what he needs and to give to Esau. And Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning that follows. Because Esau, look at the world, it's polluted. The weather's polluted. The people are eating defiled food that's polluted. The people they're not even breathing good oxygen. So they're not thinking clear. And at the same time, as it says, and Yahweh shall bring you again. So we're in Egypt again. It goes on to say in Isaiah 14, 1 to 2, for Yahweh will have mercy upon Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. We're going to go in our own land. Because it's what? Yet? Again. He told us in Jeremiah, he says, Jeremiah 10:22, yet a remnant of Israel shall return. Only a small amount. Only a very small amount is going to return. That's why you're looking for a stadium full of people. No, a stadium full of people will only be to hear foolishness. Nothing that will vitalize them as a people. They're looking for glamour and glitter. As long as it's sparkling, it must be right. If I see a lot of people there, oh, it got to be. They don't examine the material. They look at the people and they say, oh, he's doing a good job. You ain't reading this book. If the devil has disguised himself, it's because if he doesn't look a certain way, you're not going to have a fellowship with him. But at the same time, if you analyze and scrutinize what is happening, these people that was brought into America and they were sold on the auction block of the United States of America are the children of Israel. They're the tribe of Judah. That's a fact. You just have to examine it for yourself. But it goes on in Jeremiah 33, verse 7. And I will cause the captivity, and we're the only captive people in the United States of America, the captivity of Judah and the captivity of Israel to return, and I will build them as after first. See, you should know that your God is going to rebuild you after first. And it says, and I will clean them from all their iniquity whereby they have sinned against me. And I will pardon all their iniquity whereby they have sinned, and whereby they have transgressed against me. And it shall be to me a name of joy, praise, and honor before all the nations of the earth. Because the nations of the earth, they don't want you to ever come back, but that doesn't matter. As it says in the second Psalm, why do the nations rage and imagine a vain thing? What was they did? They came against you. And you go and read it. If you read it and pray, and Yahweh will tell you, we're coming back as the people. You don't have to worry about that. You can close your eyes, but do you trust him? Do you trust his name, his divine and holy name? Will you get your life in order? Will you become much more involved in not the world, but in the discipline that can only come by reading the word and praying and calling on Yahweh? Not to scorn people. That's not our job. People will scorn themselves when they understand that they've gone down the wrong road consistently. And they're going to blame it on their teachers. But they have to blame it on themselves for not being more alert, more independent to scrutinize what is being given to them. So I'm saying to you, as he said, the nations which shall hear all the good that I do unto them, and they shall fear and tremble for all the goodness and for all the prosperity that I propose unto it. So Yahweh is going to give us our prosperity. Because we don't have to worry about whether the nation is going to give it to us. The wealth of the world, the wealth of America belongs to the American Indians and the Black Americans. But they don't have to give us anything. Yahweh is going to give it to us because this is Egypt again. And when we left Egypt, the first Egypt, Yahweh put his fear upon the Egyptians. They gave us everything we want. Everything they hide from us. They're going to bring it to you and lay it at your feet. You don't have to worry about that because Yahweh God is going to put it in their heart. A fear, a trembling. So you don't have to be angry with anybody. What you need to do is to get into that Tanakh and read it and pray. And ask Yahweh for guidance so that you can come into harmony. And I like to say this is my last lesson for now. I'm going to have a summer with the children and present my program, but I also like to read what is written in Amos 9:11. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruin, and I will build it as in the days of old. This is so beautiful. Yahweh is going to do this for us. We don't have to worry about it. Yahweh is going to bring this about. And then let me read it again to you. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruin, and I will build it as in the days of old. So we know that there has been a promise that has come out of the mouth of Yahweh God to raise us up again, to bring us back into the circumstances of prosperity, but only through righteousness can we obtain. And we read this book, and we read it in search and ask for Yahweh for God. And therefore, when we read it, we see the spectacular words that is written, that is our comfort. And what he has said in Psalm 89, and verse 34, my covenant will I not break, nor alter the things that have gone out of my lips. Once have I sworn by my holiness that I will not lie unto David. His seed, listen, his seed shall endure forever, and his throne as the sun before me. It shall be established forever as the moon, and as the faithful witness in heaven. So we don't have to worry about what is going to transpire. It has already been written. We are a forever people. And no matter what anybody decides to do, we are the property. We are what? Of Yahweh God. And Yahweh God will take care of us because he has anointed us. All we got to do is just trust in him. Trust in him because he will bring everything to pass. So I want to thank you. Tell you, I want you to have a good summer and a good life. And the way you can have that good summer and that good life is that you know who you are, that you keep the commandments of Yahweh God, and you do what has been prescribed. That's the only thing I can tell you. You can read. If you can find someone that may give you a clear understanding that you already have, that's good. But you monitor everything someone says to you, because it is not a vain thing, for this is your life. And if someone tells you to go astray from the commandments of keeping the Sabbath, that's wrong. Oh, the Sabbath doesn't matter. That's not true. The Sabbath, if you cannot keep the Sabbath, you should inquire continuously in the ears of Yahweh and call on him and tell him what you want to do. So may Yahweh bless you. May Yahweh have mercy and continuously open up your eyes so that you may bear witness that we have a great and awesome God. Wayatana Matala Hayama Matala Shemayama Wamashamanaya Awatis Rabba Gana Matayasha Dabada Wakamayama Wayasha Dahawa Maka Amayama Hawaha Gabayua Lakayaka Wayasha Dahawa Laka Naya Amaka Ara Yata Ara Wamabaka Yata Ara Waka. And may the Elohim give you of the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve you and nations bow down to you. Be Lord over thy brethren and let thy mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be they that curse you, and blessed be they that bless you. Yabba Rakaka Yahawaha Wayasham Waka Yara Yahawaha Nayuma Malaika Wayahanaka Yasha'a Yahawaha Anayawa, Layaka, wa Yeshama, Laka, Shalom, Lama. Yahweh bless you and keep you. Yahweh make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yahweh lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. As we go on, knowing that Yahweh God is truly with us, we said, Hanaha, Melaka, Yahweh, Yabayabad, Mayura, Yawa, Wayacha, Latisma. And the angel of Yahweh encamped round about them that fear him, and he delivered them. Yatisra, Samawata, Yatisra, Shalawama, Shalawama, Kaya, Baka, Atawaka, Batakawa, Bayahawaha, Ataya, Ata, Kaya, Bayaha, Yahawaha, Tiswara, Malayama. You will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you, because he trusts in you. Trust in Yahweh. Yahweh is everlasting strength. Uraka ataha babaka, wabaramaka aha pataka. Blessed shall thou be when thou cometh in, and blessed shall thou be when thou goeth out. I want to thank you, and as I said, this is the last one for the summer, and I want to thank you for giving me your time, because time is precious. And I truly say that the words that Yahweh has put in my heart, may it nourish you, because the word of Yahweh is the complete food of all humanity and all people, because if the sun don't shine, ain't nobody eating and nobody living. So we know who's the great provider. He is. And may Yahweh bless you. And I like to say shalom, lala tov. May Yahweh bless you. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom. Thank you so much. Lala tov.
My pleasure. Lala tov.
Lala tov. Shalom.